Hi, good morning everybody. It's Danielle from Naturally at the Wren's Nest. Hope you're all well on this gorgeous sunny Saturday morning. I'm just jumping on for a few minutes to talk to you about something. I haven't been on for ages. It feels like I literally haven't been on, I'd say, since the beginning of lockdown started. So it's been quite a while. So apologies for being MIA for so long. I have been very busy. You guys have been keeping me very busy making soap. So thank you for that. But apologies for not being on for a while. And I've kind of missed it. I like this chit chat that I do with you guys, even though you're on the other side of the screen. But anyway, what I came on to this morning to talk to you about was elderberries. I've just got back from my walk. I should have brought a bigger basket. I brought that and I could have got 3 times as much. But it's elderberry season, and they're everywhere at the moment, and it seems to be a really bumper crop of elderberries. It is around this way anyway, this year. So what I thought I would do is jump on really quickly and tell you about some of the things I'm going to be doing with mine, and give you one really quick and easy recipe that you can do this weekend with your elderberries. So these are elderberries. I'm not sure if you would know them. Some people would, of course, others might not be so sure, but if you do a quick Google, you'll get really good pictures that are will help you to identify them. But there's tons of them out there at the moment, and I picked a nice basket of them this morning. With mine, I am going to be making an elderberry syrup. I do that every year. It's a fantastic syrup to have in your medicine cabinet for the winter. I will be making an elderberry tincture. I will be doing a drink as well, like an oxmel or a shrub or something. And what I'm going to show you this morning, or talk to you about this morning, is I'm going to make a fermented honey with the elderberries. And you're probably thinking, fermented honey? That doesn't sound great. Promise you it's lovely and really, really beneficial. So I'm just going to tell you how simple it is. So you need fresh elderberries for this one. You don't want frozen, you don't want dried. So get out this weekend. I think the weather is to be fairly decent, and pick some fresh elderberries. And you don't need very many for this recipe. And what you can do with the rest is stick them in a bag in the freezer until you're ready to use them. But for this one, you need fresh elderberries. So you need elderberries and you need honey. Preferably a local honey. That's what I have here. If you can get a raw local honey, it's much more beneficial for you because it has all the good stuff in it, as opposed to a jar of honey off the shelf in the supermarket which has been processed, and it loses all its goodness because it's heated and all that. So if you can get a raw honey, ideal. If not, you can still do this recipe. Okay, so you need honey, elderberries, and you need an empty jar. And basically what you do, super simple, you take your elderberries off the stalks, and the easiest way to do that is to run a fork through the stalks, and they all pop off really easily. You do not want to use green ones. Can you see on that there's a little green one there in the middle? You don't want to use green ones, they're toxic. You don't want the stems in there, they're also toxic, and you don't want the leaves, they're toxic. There is a little bit of toxicity in the elderberry when it's eaten raw. You're not supposed to eat them raw, but the fermentation process gets rid of that tiny little bit of toxicity, so they're safe. So what you do is you take all your elderberries off the stalk, use a fork, super simple, and you fill your jar. So I would say about maybe 2/3 of the way, maybe up to kind of here on the jar. Fill it with your elderberries. Put your honey in on top. Make sure the honey is covering the elderberries, excuse me, and leave about, a couple of centimetres. Don't fill it all the way to the top. Maybe bring it to about here. You need to leave a little bit of space for the fermentation process, because that produces gases. So fill your jar with your elderberries 2/3 of the way. Fill them with honey until they're completely covered in the honey. If you're using a jar with a metal lid, put a little square of greaseproof paper over the top of the lid, excuse me, and then close it. Now, there are 2 ways of doing this. You can close the jar tight, or you can leave the jar loose. What I do is I close my jar tight, and then put it to one side. You want to make sure that the elderberries are completely covered in honey. So maybe turn the jar upside down for half an hour and then upright it again after half an hour. So make sure the jars are completely covered, put it to the side, and in about 2 or 3 days you will start to see little bubbles appearing on the top. That's really good. That's what you want. That's the fermentation process. So it's the combination of the fresh elderberries have quite a high water content, and they also have on the surface of them a natural yeast. So don't wash your elderberries before you use them. And it's that, the water and the yeast combined with the sugars in the honey, that starts the fermentation process. And you're probably thinking, why do I need fermented honey? Why can't I just eat regular honey, or, eat the elderberries a different way? The elderberries are an absolute powerhouse in terms of our health. They're antiviral, they're antioxidant, they're packed with vitamins. They're super, super good for our immune system. And if you add in the beneficial bacteria from the fermentation process, it makes a really, really potent honey, which, if you take spoonfuls of it at the start of a cold or flu, will literally knock it on the head. Elderberries can stop a cold or a flu in their tracks. So if you add in the benefits of a raw honey, then as well, you're getting a double whammy. So what you do is you leave that to the side. As I said, after a couple of days, you'll see bubbles forming. Now, if you have sealed your lid tight, you will need to loosen it every couple of days just to let the gas to stop the gas from building up. So you it burps it, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. So you just open the lid, let the air out, and tighten it up again. I do that every couple of days. And then after about a week or so, you will have a fermented honey, so you can start using it then when you see it really starting to bubble. That's the fermentation process happening, and it's ready to use at that point. The longer you leave it, the better it'll be. Now, what you should do is strain your elderberries out of it before you use it, just in case there's any toxicity left in them. That's what I would do. But usually they're okay to eat as well. I would strain them out and put them into a jam or something. If I was making a blackberry jam, I'd throw in the fermented elderberries as well. So you just strain it out after maybe a week or two, and you have a gorgeous coloured fermented honey that will be an absolute gift to you in the winter time when cold and flu season is upon us. As soon as you feel the first effects of a cold or a flu, or if you're feeling a bit under the weather, start taking 2 or 3 teaspoons of that a day, and it will knock it on its head. Super, super simple, easy thing for you to do this weekend with your elderberries. As I said, if you pick a load of elderberries and you don't get a chance to use the rest of them this weekend, pop them in a freezer bag and put them in the freezer until you're ready to use them. I will be doing either a recipe or a blog, or a video or a blog post, probably both, for an elderberry syrup, but it won't happen this weekend because I have to go into work and make soap. But I'm going to put mine in the freezer, and when I'm doing my syrup, I will come on and I will tell you how to do that too, okay? So that's it, guys. Oh, who's in? Hey, Violet. Brilliant, you've got jars of honey. Perfect, you're ready to go. Hey, Monica. Hi, Debs. So that's it. You can make your own fermented elderberry honey, and you will have an absolute powerhouse of medicine in your cabinet for the winter months. So get out this weekend, pick your elderberries, as I said, make your honey, put the rest of them in the freezer. I'll be back on maybe next week or the week after to tell you how to make your elderberry syrup. Okay, get out and enjoy the day, guys. It's absolutely beautiful out there. It's a gorgeous morning, and I will chat to you all soon. Bye.